Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's episode of the Just Us Review. Now, this week's a special week. You know, most of the comic book shows I took a week off except for Black Lightning, and we're going to catch you up to what's going down with that one. So let's kick it real smooth with Black Lightning right quick. So to catch you up, the ASA still has this firm grip on Freeland, but you know what? The people are like, we've had enough. We ain't taking this no more. And they starting to rise up. There's a couple things that's going on right now where Trayvon is trying to get back to his family because he's not a meta and they can prove it. Blackbird is feeling the weight and the pressure of a situation around her.
And she's got a bounty now.
And she now has a bounty on her too. She's like 50 double berries now. And on top of that, Jefferson is trying to come to grips with not only the fact that his wife is nowhere to be found because she's out trying to help other metas. Jennifer he's starting to realize that she's feeling for the ASA now. It's feeling weird now. It's not the house that he's used to. So how do we feel about this episode?
Okay, first off, let me say this. You know it's going to be a good episode when it says directed by Robert Townsend.
Yeah. whenever Meteor Man is behind the camera,
exactly.
You know things are about to get real. But how did you like this?
This was... I mean, I know it's only 5 episodes or so in, but this has been the best episode so far.
Okay.
Black Lightning is on a level right now that, like, I keep saying this, it should be beyond the CW. It should not be on the CW. This should have been on HBO next to Watchmen, or since DC has this app, it should have been there. Where more eyes can get on it, and they can probably go just as far as on HBO.
You really think there are more eyes on the DC app than on
I'm just saying, this show is too good right now, in my opinion.
Now, I'm piggybacking off of what he's saying. There's a lot of things that they cover. One thing that we notice is that Lynn is slipping further and further in the green light. And as a matter of fact, she's actually upset to the point now that she has to help Tobias become youthful again. And that was the coldest scene to me. When Tobias was like, first of all, he was hitting on her. He was like, and I didn't think he liked black women. But he was sitting there spitting game and he was like, oh, by the way, I know your husband's Black Lightning. I know your kids are superpowers. And he's like, where your super suit at? And then Lynn was like, yo, nah, you bugging. She tried to play it off at first. She's like, nah, I ain't stupid. I mean, come on, let's be real. Black Lightning show up every time you and your children in trouble. So Jefferson Pierce has got to be Black Lightning. And Lynn, this is what I loved because her character flipped in this moment. And she went from this carrying do no harm doctor to going straight up to Odell like, you need to kill this motherfucker. And Odell was like, is that really one? She's like, yes. As soon as we done, I want him gone. So that was a complete flip of her character.
So I wanted to say something in regards to that. So, first of all, let's get the Odell shit out of the way. Last week, I was like, ever since the drugging shit, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. This week, I'm like, well, now I don't know where the fuck you going because you doing this and then you doing another thing that we gonna talk about later.
Well, here's my question to you. Do you think the murderous thing is from Lynn or from the green light?
It's always going to be from the green light because the moment they show that scene, Lynn's agency and ability to make decisions have been taken off of the table. And that's one of the things that forget the fact that he did it and what it makes him look like. We can make the Bill Cosby jokes all day. The point is, from a story-telling perspective, it robs Lynn of the fact that, if she didn't have that green light, if she wasn't infected with green light, would she have been kill him?
It removes the faculties for her to make choices. See, I'm on the line on that one because he did make an open threat to her family.
Yeah.
But I also feel and I've said this before, and to me, all I got was more confirmation of that. This is the Lynn that Lynn always wanted to be. Green light is just pushing it to the forefront.
Okay, so like alcohol, it's just...
Exactly.
Gotcha.
All she suppresses what she really wants. She really wants to be that. And that's why... The white woman whose ass she beat last season, the doctor.
Yeah.
That's why Dr. Jace gets under her skin and why she's like her villain, because she sees herself in Jace. Jace is her if she would take the weights off. That's literally it. And all Greenlight is taking the weights off. It may be unnatural, and here's the thing: I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I also feel like this isn't Greenlight just made her a totally different person. This is who she is. She just has to cover it up to be a civil person.
Now, going off this, so Tobias is now back. He's youthful now, which we know it's the flag is waving that he's going to somehow get out. Mm-hmm. Now, we move on down, and now Blackbird is a threat. She's been the thorn in ASA side. Odell can't prove the fact that it's Anissa, but he knows it's her, but he can't prove it. So he decides to send out my boy Khalil. Mm-hmm. How do we feel about that scene?
So here's the thing. I felt like, and maybe this wasn't outwardly stated, I felt like Khalil's entrance into the series got a little bit boring after like the third or fourth episode. Because all he was really doing was going to places, beating people up, and then vamping out of there. It wasn't until his interaction with Blackbird where I actually was like, okay, let's see something. Also, let's put this out here. Couple of things. One, you didn't recognize Khalil.
He was just wearing glasses.
Exactly.
I mean, it was the Superman effect. I was like, okay, as soon as she walk up, she's going to be like, Khalil? I thought you was dead.
Exactly.
Two, he beat the fuck out of her. Let's get that out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
We was talking about that meta that was going to give her the business. It was him.
He did rock her shit.
Technically, they got away, but she lost that fight. Mm-hmm. Let's be real about that. And then there's some other things regarding the situation with that and what happened, and I don't know if we want to move that deep into it.
Well, we're going to move down that. We're going to move the chain down the field and go a little further with this. But before I want to get down to that, we see Henderson. He's trying to pretty much calm down the community with what's going on. We know that the kids are being taken. We know all this stuff is going on. And Henderson is trying to pretty much calm down the community that it's not as bad as you think. Now, in this moment, what are we feeling like?
Okay, so in this particular moment, see, I don't know if I could talk about this moment without talking about the reveal at the end.
Go for it.
Okay, so, like, I feel vindicated because I went out on the line for Henderson like weeks ago when I was like, he has to be that face that everybody hates. And it turned out my man was running the Underground Railroad, the separate entities, and was like, we need to get all of them together the whole time. So to
catch you guys up, throughout the episode, Henderson is arresting anybody that protests against him. He arrests Wyclef. He arrests the pastor and various other people who he think are standing up against the ASA and the police. And we think he's a turncoat and that he's gone against the community. But then there's a reveal at the end that he's actually been working with the underground movement this entire time. Mm-hmm. What about you?
So here's the thing about that. One, was it really a reveal? Because last episode, the ASA was getting their ass beat, and he was like, do not help them. That's an ASA matter.
Okay, hold on.
And he freed Tavon and those other prisoners.
Okay, let me take this one. I didn't think he was part of the movement because I thought that was more retribution. Y'all came in my shop, took my desk, took over my house, beat my ass in my own office, and you think I'm gonna help you?
yeah. On the surface, that just looked like him being petty.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is, like, if you was in that jail and he freed you, like, do you really care if it was petty or not?
I just as I'm escaping the jail, like, man, the chief is petty as hell.
But two, I'm gonna say this. Honestly, he was the MVP of the episode.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like, I felt like he was the only one that did everything right. And also, I feel like it's interesting the dynamic was because on one side you have him uniting all of the different factions so that they can work together. And on the other thing of things, the one faction that should be united, which is Jefferson and his family, and they're off doing their separate things. Or they're bickering amongst each other. And I say the family, I include Grace and Gambi in that too.
Well, here's my thing, and about this whole situation with Henderson. I loved it because he had been taking trash from both sides for the longest. He's like, how can I serve and protect my community to the letter of the law? And we know that the law is fallible. And he's been stuck in that middle the whole time. And he's like, he's going to break eventually. And all the stuff that he has to deal with while serving his community on the face side, he's like, I got to take all this stuff. Like, that's the sign of a true hero.
Yeah.
And you know what they actually did, and I kind of feel like they did it better. They did the Dark Knight. He had to be the hero that Freeland deserves, not the one it needs right now. So he had to take the fall.
And he took all those L's on the cheek.
Exactly.
Like, he'd go home to his wife and he's like, I want them to know that I'll have their back, but I can't tell them that I have their back.
Exactly. What a lot of people don't know is when it comes to like resistances and stuff like that, you got a lot of people that have that make sacrifices that we don't know about.
Exactly.
And they have to look like the villain, or they have to look like the bad guy in that situation. And they know that even in the annals of history, they are going to look like the bad guy. But they had to do that because they had to be the person out front that gets looked at, while the people that's doing the other half of the work underneath do what they do.
It's the changing focus. So, shouts out to Henderson on that one. My only question about this whole thing is, why do they need Wyclef for this?
I would say that because he represents the common citizen.
Gotcha.
And this goes to something that, well, there's 2 points of that, but one of them isn't really in the episode. But so I'll talk about the first one. This goes to another thing that I've said the whole time about what this season needs to be about. We remember when the season premiere, we talked about how bad the public talked about Black Lightning. And remember, one of the comments I made was that, like, the people need to learn to stand up for themselves.
Exactly.
And we finally hit that note this week. They pretty much say it. Now the people have something to fight for.
Now, let me pick up after that one. Now, as the story is going on, we get Trayvon was the kid who got taken by the ASA and then rescued last episode. So Jefferson tells Anissa, hey, his family wants to see him, bring him back. She's like, this is a bad idea. He's safe where he is. Let him stay. And Jefferson's like, this needs to be done, so she does it. In the process, Trayvon actually gets killed by Khalil. Now, I found this one interesting because first it was a spark that led to the revolution, and also how timely that it tied in with a lot of children that we see killed due to authoritative violence, for example, like Trayvon Martin. So that was a very timely event to that one, and I love how it correlates to what happened in real life and the effects that you saw that it had in school. Now, when the children learn that Trayvon dies, they're like, this is it, we can't take you no more. And they rise up. And as they're rising up, you see the ASA police strike one of the kids with the butt of the rifle, and then Jefferson's like, I can't take this no more. And he springs into action, not using his powers to stand up against them. How we feel about this scene?
So I want to let's track back a little bit to Tavon's death. Do you necessarily blame anybody for that outside of Khalil?
I can't. I know the inkling is to blame Jefferson, but he was literally just trying to get a kid back home because they had all the evidence that they needed to show that he was not a meta. Whoever stated that he was a meta was just lying.
So the reason I ask is because there was something, and this is and it speaks to what I was talking about, how the Pierce family isn't united. Like, after that happened, the first thing out of Anissa's mouth was, this was your fault. I told you this wasn't going to work.
I would say, if you want my opinion, I would say it was kind of a group effort, that it wasn't their fault, that it was everybody's fault. And this is why. Yeah, Jefferson was probably acting on emotion to get that kid out. But here's my thing. We learned earlier in the season that the way Anissa gets in and out of those fluctuations in the thing is because, like, Gambi showed her how to do that.
Yeah.
And he's always watching those. You didn't see that there was you didn't get a ping or anything that someone was waiting by the post that Anissa's gonna come through?
He didn't think anybody would figure it out like what he figured out. Here's my issue with Jefferson is that he stuck his nose into a situation that he knew absolutely nothing about. He saw grieving parents and he was like, I can do something about this. And he was like, Anissa, you know that thing you're doing that I don't approve of? I need you to do me a favor and upheave your plans for this.
So this is the thing. He asked her to do that. If she felt this was wrong, she didn't have to do that.
She did. But she stated it emphatically. She was like, this is a terrible idea. We shouldn't do this. It's too much risk behind it.
But let's also be real about this, though. She probably had to move him because she brought a fucking virus up in the Purdy's own.
That wouldn't have affected him.
Are you sure about that?
It doesn't affect non-Metis. As a matter of fact, Jace explicitly engineered in order to mess with Metis.
There's going to be an episode where the Purdy says, fuck this. Because this is the second time they've showed the Purdy, and the Purdy is like, you way out of pocket, and now you introducing a virus to my people.
So yeah, Jefferson ends up getting worked out by the ASA, and the kids witness this. Jennifer's like, enough. I can't watch my dad get murked in the streets like this. I need to do something. Mm-hmm. But when she's about to spring into action, what's his name? Silky Smoothie grabs her like, nah, baby, you can't do that. Now, what do we think about this scene?
Okay, so
who is Silky Smoothie anyway?
I don't know. I gotta look who up he could be in DC Comics, but apparently he DC's Rogue.
Why'd you make me hold on, Mom? It felt bad.
I don't know if he absorbed her power or if he took took her powers.
I don't think he took them permanently, but because later didn't she raid the offices of and that, by the way,
show it next time.
Yeah.
Off screen that.
So Anissa gets payback for the officers who beat up her dad. She busts up and they hide out.
Because Odell let her, which is like, okay, so like you just throw all of your men away. Even like this is the shit I was talking about. Like, are you? Maybe I'm stupid and this motherfucker is playing 4D chess.
I think he's playing 4D chess because, okay, so after Jefferson gets beat up, Jennifer goes to Odell, is like, so you just gonna let your people whoop my dad's ass like that? And Odell's like, I don't like it when any black man gets beat in the streets like that.
MLK.
MLK. That's right. Matthew Luther Kodak. That's who he marched with. So he was like, yeah, I marched with MLK. I don't never want to see that. As a matter of fact,
but you how'd you like to get some cages, but I mean, what?
How would you like to get some payback? So he sends Jennifer out to go whoop their ass, but unfortunately they didn't show it. I would have loved that. Mm-hmm. But going back to Jefferson getting beat up and everything, the scene with Anissa and the dude with the powers, did that pretty much culminate everything? So I think that is the breaking point. This pretty much is the season, like, peak conflict. Mm-hmm. So what do we think about that?
I actually like that because like it hit so many points and culminated all the past 5 episodes together. Like I said before, like this could have been the mid-season finale if it wasn't for the fact that they fucking around with Christ.
Jefferson was just one in a line of several people that was literally taking ass whoopings for Freeland and basically saying, look, they gonna keep doing this unless we all come together. Like, is this enough? Mm-hmm. Because let's be real. We can talk about how Jefferson got an ass whooping. We could talk about how they tuned up Henderson, but I mean, like, Mike Lowry got his ass beat last week.
Children were getting their asses whooped.
Exactly. So it's like, you know, what the fuck?
I don't feel bad that Mike Lowry got his ass beat, but he did take an ass whooping.
But let it be known. Like basically, we needed to see that though, because one, he needed a redemption, mm-hmm. but also, you know, we needed to see that
everybody can catch these hands.
Exactly.
When the ASA rolled through.
Exactly.
And it hits on so many levels too, because the average, and this is why Wyclef, that ain't his name, but we call him Wyclef. This is why Wyclef is important, because to the average person, they ain't never seen no meta, or at least not one that'll hurt them. and they ain't never seen no Markovian, but it's ASA all over the place. They the ones whooping our asses.
Exactly.
So who's protecting us from them?
Exactly.
So
the ASA is here to protect us from this unknown threat that we've never seen. Yet they're the ones who are beating us, taking our freedom.
Exactly.
Then is this protection really worth it?
Which I do got to make mention that like their absence, the Markovians' absence, is starting to like make me ask questions.
Well, my question on that one is, I think the Markovian threat is done. I think that after they got spanked by
it's not that it's done. It never happened. I honestly think it was a. So here's the thing. We know that the Markovians exist and are real.
It's literally just a foil for them to acquire powers from Metis. That's literally it.
But I think that they took what was going on with the Markovians and they trumped it up to a level so that they can use Freeland to do what they want to do. Now, I think Markovians eventually will make it to Freeland, but it ain't gonna be on the level that they would have the people of Freeland believe.
All right. So, all in all, it was a very powerful episode this week. I can't wait to see what they do for the next one. But, all in all, a great episode. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode of the Just Us review. Sorry it was a short review, but we can only work with what they come out with. Like and subscribe. We have plenty of stuff for you guys to come out and take a look at. But until next time, peace.